Hey guys, it's me Ram here, and in today's video I'm going to be doing some 2x2 walkthrough solves with Zayn Khanani. If you all don't know, Zayn Khanani is currently the best 2x2 solver in the world with a world record average of 1.13 seconds and a ton of unofficial YouTube world records. He also placed third at the World Championships in 2019 and currently mains the Speedcube shop Cosmic Walk 2M. So a massive thank you to Zayn for joining me on this video, and without any further ado, let's just get right into Scramble 1. If you want to buy any of our cubes or any other Speedcube, be sure to get it at Speedcube shop and use the discount code RAM for 5% off your order, as well as a shout out at the end of my latest video. So on Scramble 1 here, I see a pretty good 5-move layer on yellow into a pretty decent CLL. So what I'd start by doing is inserting this, inserting this, then U, and then I would do this CLL algorithm with no UF.
On the first scramble I saw on green, you could either insert with RUR prime to get this pretty good TCLL case, or you could insert with U prime R prime FR, but it doesn't give it as great of a case. I also looked on yellow, and then I checked that you could make a 5-move layer, but then you don't really get a great CLL case. And then I saw on red that you could make a 5-move EG1 face, which gives it an okay case, but instead of doing that, you could do R prime U2 F prime, and then you set up to this easy TCLL, so I could just finish with U2 RUR prime U prime RUR prime U2.
So here's Scramble 2, and Scramble 2 is probably going to be one of the easiest of the bunch because as you can see, we have a 1-move EG1 face, but this face actually cancels into the algorithm. So the first move is F prime, so you can just go right into the EG1 algorithm with no UF.
On the second scramble, I saw that on red there is a 1-move face which leads to this easy EG1, and the first move is already done, so that's probably what I'd go with by just finishing with RUR prime U prime RU R2 F prime R.
Alright, so here's Scramble 3, and here I can see a 3-move face on green, but the bar will be in the front, so I'll have to hold it from this angle and do kind of a lefty insert and cancel right into the EG1 with a U prime AUF.
On the third scramble, I saw that there was a 3/4 face already done on green, and there's a few different ways you could insert. You could either do U prime R prime F prime R, which gives this LEG1, which would be pretty decent, and you can do LU prime L prime to get this EG1, or you could do U LU to L prime to get this EG1. But I actually know an alg for if you do U RU to R prime. I know an alg from the front here for this EG1 that starts with RU to R primes. So when I had it here, I would basically be able to cancel into the alg by doing U2 R prime U prime F R2 U2 R prime F, and then just U2 AUF.
Alright, so here's Scramble 4, and over here I can see a 3-move EG2 face on blue, and what I can do here is hold it from this angle and do F, U, and cancel into the EG2. So as you guys can see, we have this EG2, so we can just go right into the alg, finish off with R2B2 R2 with a U2 AUF.
On the fourth scramble, I saw that on yellow you could either do U prime R, U prime R2, which gives you this EG1 case, or you could do R prime U prime R2, U prime R2, which gives this case. And then I also looked on blue and saw that you could either do RUR prime, which gives you this anti-CLL, and you could cancel into it. Then I also looked and saw you could do U prime R prime FR, which gives this EG2 case. But whenever you can insert and then get this case, I know that you can basically hold it from here and do FRU R prime F prime, and then it would skip LL, but in this case it's anti-CLL, so then I would have an R2B2 R2. So basically the full solution would be from here I would do U prime F RU R prime, but and then instead of doing F prime I would do FR2 B2, and then I'll just finish with the UAUF.
Okay, so here's Scramble 5, and this one is a little awkward because we have a 4-move EG1 face. However, the bar ends up in the front and we have this EG1 case. So I'll have to hold it from this angle and do F prime R prime U R, and you're left with this EG1, which you can actually cancel into like this, and you're left with a U2 AUF.
For the fifth scramble, I immediately noticed yellow, and I saw that you could make a 7-move face, and then you would end up with this pretty nice PVL case. But instead of doing that, I also saw on blue you could do 3 moves to make this layer, but it doesn't give a very good CLL case. And then what I'd probably end up going with on white, you can do 2 moves, and then you end up with this pretty nice LS case. So the full solution would be from here, I'd just do U R U prime R prime F R F prime R prime U R prime F prime R U2.
Alright, so here's Scramble 6, and over here I can see a 4-move EG2 face on red. So what I can do is F prime from this angle, L prime U2 L, and I'm left with this pretty good anti-CLL slash EG2 with no AUF.
For the sixth scramble, I saw that there was a 6-move layer on green that gives you Nicholas, and you can cancel into it, so that'd be pretty good. But instead of doing that, I also looked on red and saw that you could do 4 moves into this okay EG2 case, but instead of doing that, what I decided to do was on yellow, you can make a pretty nice 6-move layer, and then you just end up with a LL skip and a UAF. So the full solution would be from here, just U, R prime, F prime, R, U prime, R prime, U.
Alright, so here's Scramble 7, and over here I would do something that's not really ideal. So I would hold it from this angle and do white with R, U prime, R. But then I would actually rotate to do this LEG1 because it's a really nice case, and finish up with a U2 AUF.
On the 7th scramble, I immediately noticed that there's a 3-move face on white that gives you this EG1 case. But instead of doing that, you could hold it here and do U, R prime, F, which gives you this LEG1. And there is a pretty nice 6-move AUG for it, but in this case, I wouldn't do that because the grip isn't too great, and I actually know an alternative AUG that basically from here, you would do R, U prime, R, U prime, R prime, F prime, and then just insert to make a layer. Apart from the white face, I didn't really see anything else too great. So what I'd probably go with is just from here, doing U, R prime, F, R, U prime, R, U prime, R prime, F prime, and then just R2, U prime, R2, U prime.
Alright, so here's Scramble 8, and on this scramble, I see a 4-move EG2 face on green. So what I can do is U2, L2, U prime, L. And I'm left with this EG2 case, which I forgot the EG2 AUG for, so I'm just going to do anti-CLL and finish off with the U prime AUF.
For the 8th scramble, I saw that you could do 4 moves on green and you would end up with this pretty good EG2 case. And then instead of that, you could also do 6 moves on white, but that doesn't give a very good EG1 case. Or instead of doing that, you could do 4 moves also on white, and then you would end up with this case. And then you can cancel into one of the AUGs I use for this. So from here, the solution would basically just be R, B, R2, F prime, R, F, U, R prime, F, R, U prime.
Now Scramble 9 doesn't look too great right off the bat. However, I see a 5-move CLL layer on yellow, which leads to a very nice CLL case. So what we can do is F prime, U prime, R2, U, and then R2. But before we do R2, we can cancel into the AUG like this, head slammer, U, and you're done.
For the 9th scramble, I noticed that there were a few ways of making a face on green. You could either do L prime, U2, L2, U, L prime, or I also saw that you could do U prime, R, U2, R, U prime, R prime, but neither of those were too great. I also looked on yellow and saw that you could either make a 5-move CLL layer and you get Nicholas and you can cancel into it, so that's pretty good. But instead of doing that, I saw that you could do 2 moves and you would end up with this LS case with no AUF, so I would do that, and the full solution would just be from here, F, R2, U prime, R prime, U prime, F, R prime, F prime, R2.
Alright, so here's Scramble 10, and I see 4 ways you can solve the blue layer. So one of them like this, one of them like this, one of them like this, and one of them like this, which is my favorite. And then I'll do a U prime and go right into this algorithm.
On the 10th scramble, I saw that there were a few different ways of making CLL layers on blue, but none of those ended up giving 2 great cases. So what I also noticed was on red, you could either make a 4-move CLL layer and get a decent case, or you could do 2 moves into this pretty nice TCLL case, but you can cancel into it. So from here, the full solution would be U, R, U prime, R prime, F, R prime, F prime, R, U prime, R prime, U.
Okay, so here's Scramble 11, and as you guys can see, we have a pretty big block on red, and we can solve the red EG2 face in 3 moves. However, what I'm gonna do here, the EG2 algorithm, is basically just R2, U, and then doing B2, R2, which leaves you with Sexy Sledge with the U prime AUF.
For the 11th scramble, I saw that you could do 4 moves into this EG2. I also saw that you could do 4 moves on the same face and get this EG1, which would be pretty good. I tried making a few things on green and yellow, but eventually I just decided to go back to the solution on red by holding it here and doing U2, R2, U prime, R2, and then just finishing with this EG1 by doing F prime, R prime, F, R2, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime.
Alright, and here's the last scramble, and what I would do here is basically just the 4-move EG1 face on red from this angle. I'll do U, R2 prime, U, R, and I'm left with this EG1 algorithm with a U AUF.
On the last scramble, I saw that there are 2 ways of making a face on red. You could either do U, R2, U, R, which gives this EG1 case, or you could do U2, R2, U prime, R prime, and then you could cancel into an AUG for this case. But instead of doing either of those, I also looked on green, and I saw that you could do 2 moves into this nice TCLL case. But instead of doing that, if you make a longer CLL layer, you can actually get an LL skip from here. You would basically do R, U prime, F to take out the corner, and then just do U2R, U prime, R prime, U prime.
So that's about it for these walkthrough solves featuring Zayn Khanani. Once again, if you guys don't know who Zayn Khanani is, I'd definitely recommend going and checking him out. The link will be in the description below. He's a highly advanced 2x2 solver. Thanks a lot for watching this video and I really hope you guys enjoyed. Goodbye.